Actually, before I go any further, let me just make sure I have space on the drive to actually like. Yeah, we should be good. All right. So yeah, I'm doing this because one thing I've noticed with coaching over the seasons is that the first time I work with an individual or a team, it tends to be all the same talking points. So, out of efficiency, we will kind of get this going, and then in further days that we work with each other, this will already be a baseline that we've established. So then we can kind of move on quicker to other more precise things. Um, First thing to talk about is like some of the terminology that I use, specifically in speed. You'll probably know the other terms already just by playing the game, but one thing a lot of people don't know about is the three speeds of Rocket League. We all probably know Supersonic already. That's where you get your trails, right? Um, but then there's also what's called slow speed, which is from a standstill to this point without using any boost. This is what's considered slow speed. And then there's what most people don't consider is what's in between, and that's what's called boost speed. So that's in between what would be considered slow speed and supersonic. The reasons why these are important is because you want to eventually get your supersonic up quite a bit throughout the game, but then also getting boost speed up and doing whatever you can to completely avoid the slow speed. Um, so there's four things that are really important to speed retention. Um, First is boost management. We'll get into that a little bit. Positioning, get into that a bit as well. Um, Fuck, what was the third that I thought about? It'll come to me in a little bit. But the one thing that not many people consider, which is extremely important,
Looks like I'm here now.
and yeah, one thing that a lot of people that don't consider when it comes to speed retention is your ability to turn quickly. A lot of people at the lower ranks, you're going to see them like doing a really slow turn this way. And then also sometimes you'll see people using like very power slidey turns, which are actually pretty inefficient. What you want to be getting to, and one drill that's really good for it, is hit supersonic, start your turn, and tap. And you're
Also, let go of accelerator. You turn faster.
yeah. Um, but for all intents and purposes, like if you're able to maintain the supersonic through, that means you're pretty much doing it right. But yeah, Nick is right. Letting go of accelerator is faster. So
Wait, so you just tap power slide? Is what
yeah.
you're saying?
So like initiate turn, tap it, and go.
Well, also so as you're tapping power slide, especially if you're turning hard, you want to tap boost as well, so you stay supersonic.
Yeah. So this, in comparison to this, is the second is what you're going to be wanting to do. It allows you to retain your speed, which means you use less boost, and you're just overall quicker. Um, you'll be able to see it if you watch higher level streamers, pros especially. Um, Really try and take notice on how they um, move across the field, and the big difference is going to be how they are using their power slide, and it's just a really quick tap. Um, One thing you can do to measure your progression is using ballchasing.com. And so you click any replay. Hopefully I wasn't slow on this one and embarrass myself.
Yo, just show him mine, bro. From back in the day.
Yeah. So yeah, typically you want to be seeing yourself around 65 and plus. Sometimes it can be difficult if your other teammates are slowing down, so or are slow. So you don't necessarily want to look at one replay and be like, "Oh, my speed's good" or "My speed's bad." You want to be getting a larger sample size, and so this page is really good. It's movement and then players. So yeah, you look at your overall speed. But one also very important thing is going to be your boost speed in comparison to your slow speed. You want to see boost speed surpass your slow speed. So like supersonic is important, but really you want to be cutting down the slow speed. That is what's really going to improve your game, and you know the turning is going to be a very integral part of avoiding that slow speed.
And then recoveries.
Oh, that was the third that I forgot. Recovery. So it's boost management, positioning, recovery, and
Great album.
what?
It's a great album.
Yeah. And turning. So those are going to be the four elements of speed retention.
Do you pretty much want to power slide anytime you're turning? Like tap the power slide, I mean?
Anytime you have to be fast to a ball. So if you have to, so say you have to make a specific touch to beat someone, right? At least in terms of right now, you're not going to have to do it with a power slide until you get higher up to where you have to be the fastest you possibly can to get to a ball. Because most of the time, if someone at your rank, you can just be faster than them and get a touch rather than having to be fucking like lightning to get to a ball. It depends solely on the situation. That's why Rocket League's so fucking hard. Is because depending, like, you can only train for certain situations, but there's a different outcome to every single situation.
Right, yeah.
It's
Gotcha.
so it's basically you in terms of like a rule, most of the time whenever you're turning, you want to do that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because the only thing like so basically the pro is it's faster, the con is you have less control over your car. Because especially if you let go of accelerator, it like snaps your car. Like it so just think of it as like a loss of traction in the back wheels, and then the back wheels suddenly grip.
Hmm.
It just snaps your car to where you're pointed. So you kind of lose a little bit of control for a second.
Yeah, well said.
Gotcha. I
Um,
appreciate that.
Yeah, and then some like things to start doing with recovery is car control is a really important thing. So you can do drills like this where you kind of like float around the ball in the mid. If you're on PC, you can also do workshops. Ultimately, look at like KevPert if need be. He has a lot of good drills as well. One of the things he mentioned in his drills is have these like blackout moments where you kind of like intentionally lose control for a second and then try and recover. Some other tips is like, you know how a goal will be scored and you get like shot all the way to the wall. Is use that time to like kind of work on the recovery, and like whenever you're
Also, good.
whenever you're like hitting the wall, always be thinking about like pointing down. And then one also last tip is like whenever you hit the ground, just be power sliding. Even if it looks
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say that.
even if it looks like there. If I wasn't power sliding, see how that's slower.
That and you can use so say you're already supersonic, but you challenge a ball sideways and you're headed towards a wall, right? You can hold power slide while you're in that direction. It's more advanced. But if you hold power slide and say you're sideways, right? You're holding power slide, you can half flip into pointing your car back in the same direction while keeping your speed. So you don't lose boost, you don't lose speed.
Yeah.
Can you show? Yeah, like that. Basically like that. So see how he was backwards and then half flip to regain forward control.
That was kind of a bad one. A really bad one. Yeah. And then, of course, if you haven't worked on the half flip yet, I'm sure maybe some of the amateur and contender players may not have, maybe even higher. I definitely recommend getting that down. That it's really important for recovery.
Half flips and wave dashes.
Yeah. Now, one thing is you don't want to have to use the half flip too much because that means your positioning's a little bit off. I mean, you're still going to have to on occasion, but you don't want to become over reliant on it. However, it's a really good foundation for overall recovery. So whenever learning a new mechanic, I always recommend breaking it down into steps. If you go to tutorials, Chronovi usually does this pretty well. He breaks it down into steps. So I always liked learning from him. So what I did for half flips is I'm actually struggling to break it down.
See, that's why I don't use air roll left for my half flips. I just use air roll.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, just look up Chronovi's. He's always pretty good about breaking things down. So yeah, that's kind of the gig on recovery. So for boost management, the really important thing is going to be these pads, the small pads. Yes, you want to be picking up hundreds when you can, but you don't want to be sacrificing position to be getting those hundreds as much as possible. So it's important to know or to kind of visualize how the pads are laid out on the field. So starting on the perimeter, taking away the hundreds, you have 4 per side. You got one here, one there. Actually 5, I guess if you count that one. And then here. Then you have the oval or the football, 4 per side as well. And this one right here is part of 3 different lines, so this one will be counted in a few. And then of course going on the other side. And then you also have straight down the middle, right? And then also here in the midfield, you have this diamond. So that's how you kind of visualize what it's about. And then as you're playing, you're going to be wanting to get these routes that you just kind of know about. So for example, rotating back, you realize mid boost isn't here, that boost isn't there. You could hit this one, flip into there, and come up with the middle. And by the time you're needed in the play or to take a shot, you got 40 boost, and you have speed. You could actually even have more speed or more boost if you had speed. For example, I was starting at slow speed. Should you be in boost speed or even supersonic, you probably won't even need to use any boost until you get up to this point, and even then it's very minimal, so you'll have even more boost to work with. Another one is so say you take a shot here, right, and it's saved, or you hit sidewall, whatever, that boost isn't there, then you can come out, hit here, come back here, be ready for the shot. If you feel like you're needed even sooner, you can kind of take this route, or if you feel like you have enough speed to retain it, just kind of come out here and take the shot. It all depends on how long you think you're needed until you actually need to make a shot on the play. Some other really good ones. One of my personal favorites is you can see how 2 of the boosts from the diamond and 1 from the football are perfectly aligned. I like to hit this one a lot, rotating back, because then you can kind of come out here. And you don't even need to go for that one, this one, if you have the right speed. going into it. Or if you feel like you're going to be needed to make a save pretty soon, then ignore that one, but still kind of hit that one. Or if you know that you're going to have to make a play really soon, what you can do is hit this one, turn into there. That was kind of a bad one, but you can see how you're going to pick up like 6 if you do it correctly. So yeah, those are some really good ones. Say you need to rotate back post, you could always hit this arc to pick up a few. Come here and make the save. Nick, got any routes that you like off the top of your head?
Specifically, having the turn quickly is third man. So, for example, you're pushing up. Say you push up too far. So you say you start in your net.
Like your net?
Yeah, like say it's your net.
Okay, so like right here.
And then you just start with the semicircle. Just like going around till you're mid, ready for the play.
Kind of like that.
And then if you have to come back, yeah. So it's like it's basically like a fucking like a big ass triangle.
Yeah.
To where you come out that way, and then say the ball gets boomed over your head or something, you can just take that middle line back to the net, and you're prepared to go either way.
Yeah. So like when you're, especially like when you're not on the ball and you're not needed to make a play, your primary objective should be to be ready for like if it comes back, but you're kind of just like circling around, picking up pads. Like even if you're full, like I am, you're always still going to be wanting to pick up more pads because you never know when you're going to need that final 12. You know.
I mean, there's also like the W in front of net where you kind of go in and out to get those small little pads if you're in a pinch.
Oh yeah.
To like not go too far up.
Yeah, that one I don't like because it's just you just hold accelerate and it puts you in a bad spot.
Yeah. Yeah, that one should probably use seldomly, but
like I said, yeah, if you're in a pinch, use it. But
yeah.
Like I only do it if I don't want to overextend too far in the play. Like I have 2 people ahead of me and I'm third. You know, you just kind of get the close one, then the one a little bit far out, so you're still kind of back post.
Yeah.
But it's still risky. So.
Yeah. So we covered the turning, the boost management, the recovery. Recovery is something that you just kind of have to work on and be conscious of. Whenever you're trying to improve in an aspect of your game, the first step is always just becoming aware of it. And then from there, you can kind of do trial and error, and then eventually you start getting comfortable, and that's where like growth really starts to happen. All right. I know this is snow day. I'm only using this replay to use the field. We're not going to be analyzing anything.
Better not be.
Although I did score a banger in this game. I did post it.
Oh, that's why you're showing it, you little bitch.
No, I'm literally not going to show
any
of the
Yo, stop interrupting him, Nick. Shut
the hell up, Slide.
Okay. So now, to kind of give you an introduction into the storyline formation that I constantly preach about. Basically, the main idea is that you're controlling as much of the field as you possibly can. So the basis of it is going to be, especially when you're driving up on the side. So one's here, one's going to be here, one's going to be back here, creating a straight line, right? Now there is always going to be exceptions of when to kind of break this rule and that third man go wide. Maybe that second come in here and first come out here. However, typically when you're initiating the attack is when you're going to be wanting to be in the straight line. Depending on what happens, then you can kind of deviate from it. Kind of the rule of thumb is going to be if the other team has all 3 players in the other ends, that's when you're going to be wanting to do the straight line. However, when you're on breakaways, and say you have numbers, like you have only 1 back and you have 2 of your guys pushing forward, then you definitely want to go out wide, because then this guy here has to be like, hey, now I have to cover the shot, but I also have to cover a potential pass. And that puts him in a very difficult situation. So that's going to be one time where you want to break it. But the main reason to do this is because, say you're running this here. which a lot of people do. Actually, let's do here. And a lot of people actually play really far out because they think themselves as like a backup plan to if this guy here loses a challenge to someone challenging up here, and then they can like bring it back in. However, in this straight line, should this guy get beat, this guy can cover that. It takes a little bit longer, but the pros of the straight line outweigh the con of that. The reason being is that, say if you're playing this way, this guy hits off the backboard, which is going to happen a lot, and come out here. Both this guy and this guy both feel the need to make the play on that. Obviously, with great communication, you can kind of work that out. However, you know, RSC seasons are only 2 months long. Odds are we're not going to develop this kind of chemistry in those 2 months. So it's more important to like kind of play the safe route. Because if this happens and one of these guys wins the challenge, all of a sudden you guys are in a very, very vulnerable position. And then even worse, someone's like far out here and far out here, goes up here. They're both going for this in the air. Also bad. So playing the straight line allows you to, one, if you're in the diamond formation, this is about your effective space, right? Whereas in the straight line, first guy has about here, second guy has about here, but the third guy, actually, second is probably too small. That should be a little bit bigger. But the third guy has like all the way out here. And this is like way better use of your positioning. In addition, this space that you give between your team is what's going to allow for you to retain your speed quite a bit. Because if you are like shadowing this guy, or shadowing might not be the right term, but like right on him as like just an in case kind of thing.
Cheats.
Yeah. You're sacrificing so much of your speed. And should that ball get behind you, you have to use so much boost to get back up to speed and back into where you need to be. So that kind of just is the simplified rundown of the straight line. Now the other benefit of it is that it allows for really good pressure. So like say this guy takes a shot, right? He can then go into the net, try and take one or two of them out, and then come out, get this boost, right? If that boost isn't there, he can come out here, be ready for the shot. Because he's moving from first to third. Which means the second man ideally will have attempted to make some sort of shot in order to come in on it. And then third also has the shot coming in as well. So, that it's kind of like a rhythmic cadence that you guys kind of just get into. Sometimes you can go out here and get that, but not always. You always have to be making a judgment kind of on the fly of how quickly things are going. So then, yes. So the second will come in, hopefully to deal with anything on that. Should it go above backboard, you need to then make the decision as second man. Am I going to be able to get any sort of decent shot on this? So if it's a low backboard shot, depending on where you're at, you could probably go for that pretty comfortably. However, if you're pushed up kind of far and the ball goes like really high up, then it's going to be better for this guy to come in. The reason is that if the ball's above you, maybe not directly above, but mostly above, it's going to be very difficult to get any sort of power behind the shot. You're going to have to do like some sort of crazy double tap. It's going to use a lot of boost. it's just not the safest way to go. So usually the comm that I like to throw out is like too high, can't get it, whatever. Something to indicate that the third man should be going for that. Because if you can catch them off guard, especially like, you know, the contender, prospect, amateur players in here, backboard defense is probably going to be pretty weak in your tiers. So being able to make the right decisions based on that will definitely put you guys ahead. So if it's high, let the third go for it. If it's kind of like coming back out barely by the bar, then you're going to want your second man to go. Any questions so far?
Do you have a replay of this in motion by any chance?
I can certainly grab one. I think.
I'm gonna look for one while you do something else.
And also, I don't know if you were already planning on talking about this, but I'd love to see this in action on defense too.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we'll get to defensive positioning as well.
Do you want me to look for one while you're doing something else?
I don't
Because
know.
I have Premiere scrims from yesterday.
Yeah. Now,
Or
see,
was
I don't
it-
know if I want to take a look at Premiere or from like a lower tier.
Fair, because it would be dynamic with Premiere.
Yeah. Because the thing about Premiere players is that. So when I was a jazz student,
I was crap.
You say
Wait,
jazz.
honestly,
on
if I
jazz
had to
student.
take like a tier to pick for him, I would say probably major, because that's like pretty basic, but like it, you know, they at least have like kind of a base
Yeah,
understanding.
it would show the thought process, but not the exceptions, because obviously in Premiere you're gonna have people that as second man can get to a ball above them and then double tap it.
Yeah. Actually, let's take minor. For undisclosed reasons. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So yeah, this game can be very improvisational, which, if you know anything about jazz music, it's basically improvisational. However, there are underlying rules that need to be applied, and one of my teachers mentioned something one time that really kind of stuck with me, is that you need to know the rules first before you can start breaking them. So like Premiere players, they're going to know the rules, but they're also going to know when to break it properly. So yeah, we can take a look at one actually, but let's start with probably
Yeah,
minor.
and then show. Yeah,
Um,
I'll look for one.
Okay.
While you're doing that.
So yeah. So yeah, back to the applying pressure. Like it's just adds for like really really excellent pressure. Man, I have the perfect replay in mind. I wonder if I could find it right off the bat.
When you say jazz music, did you play the saxophone?
Yes.
Alto?
Tenor.
I don't even know what any of this means. It's the fact that you do jazz music, I love.
Well, okay, so are you looking for a specific, like a straight line version or the exception?
We'll start with the straight line, and then we can start looking.
All
at
right, because
some exceptions.
I have the exception ready for a
Okay.
replay.
Where can I find pro replays? I forgot.
Yeah, I'm super curious because this like
You
breaks.
hit limit to pro players from the player name.
No, but I have a specific RLCS match in mind.
I was gonna
You
say
just
this,
search
like-
up the player, like the player name in the player thing, and it should be like recent, if it's recent.
It's not recent. Fuck.
I was gonna say this breaks like every rule I've ever been taught about rotation. So I'm really curious.
Yeah, a lot of people they think the diamond's correct, because they think it's setting up passing plays, but most people just don't see it.
My question is like, what is the replay? And I can probably find it.
It's
Is it like
PSG versus. It was from season 9 RLCS.
what's it versus like Cloud9 or G2? I remember those games.
No, it was a EU.
Okay.
Oh, was it Dig?
No, it was against a not a very good team.
Try and remember non-good teams from Europe.
They were in RLCS though?
Yeah.
Do you remember any of the players from that? Like from the other team?
I do not know.
Because if we don't really know what we're looking for.
Yeah, it just like it just came to me. It wasn't something I was expecting to.
Season 4 or Season 3?
Season 9
Oh, Season 9. What?
of RLCS.
I thought you said like really old and I was like, huh?
Not that old.
Wait, PSG wasn't even in Season 9 RLCS, right? Am I being insane?
Honestly, maybe in season 8. Ignore I said anything.
Okay. I think they were only in Season 7, but I'll see if they're in Season 8. Yeah, no, only Season 7. I got plugged in my PC soon. Or my laptop, I should say.
Well, are you sure it wasn't TSM?
No, it wasn't TSM.
I'm trying to find something. Was it versus like Ents? Like that
Method?
one South American team?
No,
Hint?
it was in against a European team.
Barcelona, Triple Trouble.
No,
Are you sure it
Just
wasn't
gonna
Method?
start naming teams.
it was during the regular season. It wasn't during the championship.
I know.
Okay.
Or I thought I know. Regular.
Well, can you just like lay out basically what happened? Like maybe
Basically,
There's, like,
it was an overtime. It went to overtime. That lasted about a minute. The opposing team did not get across the other half once. It was just constant pressure from PSG. That's why I wanted to bring it up. But
It might have been Triple Trouble then.
no, that's a South American team. It was against a European team.
Triple Trouble isn't South American.
Oh yeah, that's right. It wasn't Triple Trouble though.
Okay.
It was like week 2 of the regular season.
So they played against Dignitas. They played against Flip Side.
Who'd they play in like week 1 or week 2?
That's why I think it's Method.
It wasn't Method. As soon as you guys say the name, I'll remember it. But
The Bricks.
no, maybe it was season 8. Sorry if I'm just confusing you guys at this point. It's from the 13th. Alright, so let's take a look at our minor team. Oh.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it was the Bricks. But it was I'm pretty sure it was. Hold up. Let me watch this now.
It was a 1 minute overtime.
Yeah, this one's a 1 minute overtime.
Who were the other players from the Bricks?
Cuxer, Speed, Mystic.
No, it's not that one that I'm thinking of. Alright. So right here, like, Destroyer and Peak get a little bit caught up, but it's a little bit forgivable because it was off kickoff. However, here, what you're going to be wanting to do, if you're in All-Stars position, you want to loop back. Hopefully that boost down there is there for you, but if not, then you kind of want to take this route. Roosh will come in here. Peak is 1 here, Roosh is 2 here, and then Destroyer will be 3rd here. So that's how you kind of avoid that situation. Alright, so this wasn't a bad idea. Like, they initiate it on it. Roosh sees the boost is there, he probably needs it, so, like, this isn't going too far out of your way to get it. So here, we're stuck in Diamond, which is what we want to avoid. We want Destroyer to be a little bit more here, because then he'll be able to take care of anything that ends up over here. If this guy gets a better hit, now all of a sudden that's coming down here, Guardians can quickly turn and they're going to be caught off guard because All-Star's over here. So that's like one way that you can get burned. They weren't punished for it in that case, but that is definitely one way to get punished. Alright, so Roosh actually makes a really good turn back there instead of like going up. Because that kind of like reforms, at least partially reforms it. Peak staying down there is not a bad decision because they haven't quite gotten back into position yet. So going for that is actually a good thing. So he was there if it was high, but it was just on target. So that's like one instance of breaking it where it works out because the defense was in transition to getting back. So then like here, Peak should be looking to go a little bit more out forward. Typically what you want to see is going to be more like this. So this is a little bit arced. However, this still allows for really effective positioning. So then Destroyer will be taking the shot that eventually happens. Should this Boog guy get like a weak hit out here, this guy will just be able to like come in and clean that up. Or the ball goes up here, then he can come and clean that up. Or out here, then he can come and clean that up, etc., etc. But because of the decision made there, they're not able to capitalize on any like weak hits, which, you know, that may end up being a good hit for him, but had he like stayed back a little bit, he would have been able to handle that. And from there, you know, you can see that they got scored on.
Was it Weedham Girls?
What are the names on that? Now, I specifically remember it being from like week 1 or week 2 of the ROC.
Yeah, this is week 2.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. Wait. God damn it! Fucking. Yeah, this is week 2. Let's see.
Didn't Weedham girls
I'm
get
pretty
like
sure it
signed?
was.
By
I
like a
have no-
real organization afterwards.
Yeah. Metzenaris, Remco, and iGnite.
No, it wasn't that one.
Okay, let's see. Is it Flipside?
Wasn't Flipside. Are you checking season 9 or 8?
Uh,
Is it maybe 8?
I actually don't know. It's just 2018. So
Gotcha.
I might have missed this because I came in late. I apologize for that. So you're advocating kind of playing more in a straight line, not a diamond. Am I picking that up?
Correct. Yeah, because
I gotcha.
diamond leads to a lot of double commits and also leads to a lot of openings for the other team to kind of break through.
Yeah. It leaves it more up into interpretation, which causes errors. I gotcha.
Yeah.
What about like an obtuse triangle? What about something like that?
We only do right triangles here, bro.
Yeah.
what about a ladder?
So yeah, it's
We do a matrix.
It's so basically the straight line is again what you want to initiate the attack with. Sometimes it does break down into an obtuse triangle. Sometimes it even breaks down into a right triangle. But the initiation is what needs to be a straight line. Make sense?
Yeah. What about isosceles? Are we?
What's an
No,
isosceles?
do not do that. That one's
I
the
don't know.
worst.
I
of
think
the two.
is isosceles 30, 60, 90? I don't even do that.
It is like two people are right on top of each other, and then one of the angles I think is 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30, 60, 90.
That doesn't
Well-
sound good at all.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, this is season 4, but is it Team Secret?
I don't think so.
Mock it, Complexity, Reno.
Hold on. Okay, so it had to have been season 8 because
Well, while you're explaining that or figuring that out, could I just explain something first, real quick?
yeah, go for it.
Being fast isn't always awesome. I want you want to be first, not fast. There's a big difference between the two. Yes, they can sometimes have aligning times where you are fast and first, but most of the time you want like being where the ball is going and being there first that way, because at the end of the day you're going to use less boost because the ball is coming to you instead of you chasing the ball around, you know. But being there first is generally a good idea because I don't know, for a long time, at least for me, I was like, oh, I got to chase this ball, like, you know, got to be fast to it. But I always ended up burning myself because I would be too fast and I wouldn't be thinking about where I was 50ing the ball because I was more worried about getting there before the other guy, right? But if you think about where you're positioned and where your placement is on the field and where the ball is in relation to you and where the other guy is in relation to the ball, like you can usually kind of place yourself to where you're going to beat him 90% of the time, as I just get fucking worked by a team in ranked. But hold on. I explained this to like a lot of my teams last season when I was AGM that like you don't have to fucking be speed weed to everything.
Right.
So
But my
One
boots.
time I hit the ball.
Now,
yeah, like
The end.
what's more important is probably more. Now, speed is correlated to this. It's more important to not hesitate in your decision making and then also getting into the air. Ultimately, you just want to be making fast decisions first and then back it up with speed.
yeah.
Okay. FC Barcelona, Mouse Sports. I'm looking at the entire season, and that's basically all that we haven't named
Yeah. God,
out of season 6 or 7.
I specifically remember Chaussette being on it. Who did he play for after PSG?
Chaussette was on PSG. No, he was
Yeah,
on
Shottab was on PSG. Are you sure it wasn't like season 5 or season 4?
No,
Because PSG
it
was
wasn't
still in
that
season
old.
5
It
and
may have
season
actually been
4.
Reciprocity. I forgot that they changed.
It's probably Team Singularity versus Team Reciprocity.
Ooh, that sounds right.
That sounds right.
Because I found that one, and then I was like, yeah,
Yes, this is it. This is it.
you fucking.
That's all right.
Oh my god.
Can we
I
get
don't-
somebody else to do
You're a
this? review?
fucking knob, bro. You're a fucking knob.
Slave work.
I forgot they had a name change. I'm sorry. All right. What was that? February 2nd, 2020? Really? This was last season? Okay.
Wait, can you find this in your replays, or did you download it?
All right, here.
I've
Here, dude.
downloaded it before. There we go. I got it.
What I wanted. There you go. Congratulations.
I already have it up right now. I had it in my replay folder because I have gone over this specific game before. I just have like 2,000 replays in my folder. Come on, touch the ground, touch the ground.
Doesn't even have 3K.
All right.
So what team we watching here?
Team Singularity versus Team Reciprocity.
Actually, let me go to the other end.
No, I'm saying which team are you?
So
trying to have
we're
us
focusing on orange. This is Team Reciprocity. So like, see right here, straight line. And then like watch what Farah does. I mean, granted that boost was there for him, so that made it pretty easy. But even if it wasn't, he probably would have grabbed that mid and then like immediately turned back in. So then like Shawset here. Notices that Fruity has the better angles, so he gives some space in between them two. That way he's able to come in like really quickly for this high ball. And Fair's there just chilling, waiting for whatever happens. Yeah, so that's as far as they end up getting it the entire overtime. Not exactly sure why Shawset went that far back, but it ends up kind of working. And it ended up working just because like they were so boost starved at this point that
Did he go all the way back because is it THQ or whatever? It looked like he could have almost had it clear though.
yeah,
Oh, are you talking about Bo?
yeah.
Or is it Bell? I can't.
Yeah.
And then Noli here is like so desperate for boost that he should be realizing that Shawset's winning this ball, and he needs to be there for it. But he boosts over ball.
Well, that's rule 1, isn't it?
No, but it's definitely something you should not be doing.
Allegedly.
So like right here, you're talking about though.
Anecdotal.
Right.
They fucked an ostrich. Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, but
Wait, you
you
watched
can't fuck an
Letterkenny?
ostrich. One person can't fuck an ostrich.
Nah, it's two people. It had to be a
Allegedly.
sick ostrich too.
Had to be a sick ostrich.
Unless he's Australian.
So yeah,
Yeah, then he just gets down under.
So that's kind of the, again, it's like they were only ever really in a straight line once, but that initiated the type of pressure that they were able to maintain in between it. So again, I reiterate, it's about the initiation, then from there you can kind of break away from it. But you always want to be having, even if this third's over here, he's going to be thinking about recreating it with at least one other person. Probably going to be like one of these people taking a shot. So yeah, that's kind of it in action at the highest level. I guess we could finish up.
And now let's see how the shitters do it.
Yeah. No offense, minor team.
No, take full offense, please.
Don't worry.
Deflect and deny.
I give you all 1 month until you're better than me.
Facts.
Fucking wash, dude. Your goddamn towel.
Now, of course, they do win 5-2 this game, so. Alright. Let's just see what they give up, because I want to keep this video under about an hour and a half. So let's just see how they give up the goal. And actually, I think once we get into like the individual team replays, we'll start talking about defensive rotation more, because it's a little bit more based on what you see. But you always want to be thinking about who is going to have the better opportunity to make the play needed to keep the goal out. Because the one thing you want to be avoiding 100% of the time is two people going for it, or even worse, all three of you. Because it's very difficult to recover back into the net before the opposing players has a shot at it. So that's really, really big. The one tip that I can give now that's really important is going to be, where's my other pen? Is, so say this guy in the corner makes a challenge on this guy and the ball pops out here. What, most of the time, you're going to be wanting the guy playing near post to be going up for that. It's just like a rule of thumb that allows you guys to get into that straight line more quickly, because then this guy can kind of follow up on the second, as the second, and then the first guy can, I mean, if he can't get to the ball to like follow up the touch, then he can like rotate back out, pick up some pads, come out as third. And then also, if the ball is floating up here, you're going to want your second to go for that, unless you are 100% sure, probably more like 90% sure, that he cannot actually get to it. Then you can jump at it. However, the more ideal situation, and this is going to be kind of dependent on where the ball is. If you think the ball's going to go up in the air, you're actually going to want this third person to go on the backboard. And should that ball go higher, you can then communicate out. Well, who's got the echo? Is it Sauce? Oh, it's P-Bake. All right. So yeah. Yeah, if the ball looks like it's going in the air, then this third man can like come up on the backboard and then communicate to the second guy that you have it, because you don't want him going for it, because it leads to a double commit. And then also, you guys are wasting boost as a team. Like, you want to be thinking about your boost situation as a team as well as individually. So if he goes for it, even if you guys end up being okay, Now this guy just wasted boost for no reason, so that's something to be conscious about. So yeah, that's kind of the most general rule of thumb about defensive positioning. Once we get into more like team replays, then we can really start breaking down defensive positioning, because it's a little bit more dynamic as opposed to set in stone like offense is. Although offense is dynamic as well, don't get me wrong. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about mostly was mechanics. The main mechanic that I want to talk about is going to be your fast aerial. Typically, fast aerials from... Actually, even some Grand Champs have a really bad fast aerial. I had one. Still not
I feel
perfect.
like you're talking about me.
So, the most basic drill that you could do for this is getting to the ceiling. Kind of as fast as possible. But then also you want to be taking notice about how straight your car is and how fast you go vertically. But then also you want to be getting to the point where you have as little adjustment as possible. So you just want to end up being straight. The one big tip for fast aerials that I have is to actually pull down on the stick before your first jump. That helped me out quite a bit. Nick, if you have anything to add, I know you're probably the most mechanical player of the group.
Try to find a rhythm. That's probably the most important thing. Like a rhythm as to when you're hitting the button.
Right.
Because it makes it easier to replicate without backflipping or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually going to be my next point. Finding the rhythm is really, really important. Sorry, I was kind of quick on that. One really good pack
Jamaican bobsled.
that you can find on the front page right now is going to be Fast Aerials and Redirects by Millennium. As the name suggests, it's really good for fast aerials. The first few shots, your main goal is not going to be to score it. They're all pretty difficult shots to actually score. Your main objective is going to be to get to the ball. If your fast arrow is not correct, it's going to be extremely difficult to actually make contact with the ball in these training packs. So you can kind of use that as a measurement of your progression. So yeah, I have my volume on. Can you guys hear it?
Do I have to like boost or something?
Can you hear the game effects?
Oh, I haven't muted on. No.
No.
Shit.
Just turn it. You'll have to like skyrocket it. Jesus!
How about now? Too much?
No. I was
Still
talking
don't
about
hear it.
fucking values and shit, dude. What the fuck?
But can you guys hear me at all? Like my game?
No.
Shit.
I can't.
It's probably you're not on Rocket League. Like, you're not on the screen share of Rocket League. You're on screen one.
Yeah.
If I
Well,
had to
On
guess.
the screen,
Yeah,
which
I
I,
got
I
you.
I think you're right, because we can see like his taskbar and stuff.
Right.
We can see him bringing up Discord, so yeah, you're on screen one.
Okay. I'm gonna switch over to Rocket League.
There we go.
Oh,
Now we hear it.
Oh, why is
that's
it so
loud.
loud? I'm struggling.
I have it basically muted for me, so I'm fine.
I'm watching a hot tub stream with some kids. I can't hear it.
All right. So try and listen for the way I jump. That one was
Yeah.
really long.
You said this pack is on the main page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of notice how it's like dot dot every time, right? That's kind of the rhythm that you want to find. It might be a little bit different for everyone, but generally it's going to be about the same. Just that kind of like dot dot.
What?
Right? You don't want to like smash jump button as quickly as you can, but then you also don't want to have like too much of a delay. You really want to find that sweet spot.
Honestly, you're jumping too early.
Like the second jump is too early, or the first one?
Yeah, second. Because in the game, if you hold down A from your first jump, you go higher.
Yeah, but like
I refuse.
by a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so fast.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And, I mentioned before, I'm still working on it too. It's far from perfect. Like, I see how pros are still much faster in the air than I am, so I know I have some room to improve. But again, it's like something that I became aware about, and something that, especially guys from like amateur, probably all the way, even elite, maybe even master, can definitely improve. This, I believe, is critical to like eliminating hesitation, or just like beating other players outright to the wall. This is like a really big difference if you ever play down against players. Like, the reason why you're beating them is that you're just faster to get to the ball, and this is what's going to make you a whole lot faster to it. I'd recommend really focusing on training packs that make you get to the ball a whole lot faster. One of my other favorite ones
I would,
is all kinds of shots. Yeah, go ahead.
I would try when in free play, just turn off unlimited boost and just try to get to the ball as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
You say turn off or turn on?
Turn off, so you can like amount with your boost as well, because like part of speed is also being able to line over the pads. If you can't line over the pads while you're going fast, you're just gonna run out of boost, and that's gonna be disappointing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, free play without boost is a good drill as well, because that will force you to learn paths as well. One other thing to focus on, and this is a really good training pack for this, is like focusing on where to hit the ball. You're going to be wanting to find the sweet spot of it. So if you want the ball to continue to go forward, you actually want to be hitting a little bit under the ball, like that. In this situation, you're probably going to be wanting to score, so you want to get it like on the top half of the ball. But say you're taking that exact same shot, but from like back here, then you're going to be hitting under it. Oh, that was bad. So yeah, and then here, like again, on top of it. So that's a big thing that you want to be thinking about when you're doing training as well, is where you're hitting the ball. And then also just kind of visualizing where it's going to happen, or where you're going to make contact. Because you don't want to like drive over here because that's where the ball is. You want to be thinking, where am I going to be making contact with it? When it comes to like mechanics, you really want to be focusing on the ones that you're going to be using the most. Power shots from the ground.
Flip cancel. Double resets.
Shit like that. But no, I'm not trying to say don't practice flip resets, ceiling shots, whatever. But you want to be thinking about them as like dessert. You can't make your entire diet dessert.
Consistency.
Just at me, fuck.
Yeah.
I've seen 600-pound light, so that's not true.
Hey, I'm an adult. I can eat dessert whenever I want.
Yeah, fuck you, I bought it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how to think about those kind of mechanics. They can actually be really good for learning.
Fuck you, I'm American.
They can be really good for learning car control, but I still think there's more effective ways to learn car control. But yeah, like
Get
feel
someone else
feel
to play
free
for.
to practice them, but you got to make sure your fundamentals are correct as well. So yeah, those are going to be mechanics that will improve just about anyone at this skill of play. So definitely be a lookout on those. So that's kind of all I got. I think when we get into the team replays, this will set as a good basis for what we're going to talk about, and then we can kind of start learning ways to improvise on the rules that we've established. Does anyone have anything to add, or questions, comments, concerns?
Try to start looking whenever you're not like going for the ball, start looking around the field. Like not just with like your right stick, but with your eyes. Like look at cars, look at where people are, look at where they're facing, yada yada.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you bring that up because that's one thing that I stress all the time is you kind of want to be keeping tabs of where the other 5 people on the field are, your teammates and the other guys. I remember watching Justin stream one time, and he mentioned he actually hardly ever looks at the ball unless he's actually going for the ball. The reason that is that he's keeping tabs of where people are, and what that allows him to do is that allows him to be in the correct position to where the ball is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be where the ball is. You want to be where it's going to be. Wayne Gretzky said that, I believe. And he scored the most goals in hockey history, so...
And his daughter's fucking hot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's what makes him credible.
I mean,
I mean, she is
look, bro.
she is a
I'm
gift.
just
Wait,
fucking
hold
with
on. I haven't seen her. What's her name?
She is pretty smoky.
Is it Paulina?
Wayne.
Yeah,
Oh,
just,
no.
just Paulina Gretzky.
daughter.
Imagine being named Paulina. That's a rip.
what she's with Jack Johnson or Dustin Johnson. That dude's
looking
got
clean for
the
the bar mitzvah.
personality of a
Sheesh.
cardboard box.
Sheesh.
She's alright.
She not bad.
All right. Yeah, so... We'll also work on vision once we get...
She's what we consider a sniper.
That looks like a female woman.
No, she doesn't look like she goes to hockey games. Just her husband's golf matches. She's like suburban white.
Can we get a saxophone like exit?
Solo.
I don't have my saxophone anymore.
Sold it
Oh,
for
just
crack.
giving up on the dream. Sweet.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. I sold it for a 1080 Ti and a month's worth of rent.
I feel that.
Hard times, you know. All right. Anything else from anybody? Questions or want to add anything?
See ball, hit ball.
You said boost over ball, or I forget which one it was.
Yes. Boost over ball. Never.
Never small
Never.
pads, just always big ones.
Indeed.
Right.
All right.
Okay. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
not
well,
much
why-
help with these sort of things.
Why go for the small pads when you can cut the fucking middleman and just fucking grab the big one? Like what?
Conscious
should never use
knows
more than
the
80
horrors
boosts to
of
go
the
for
small
100 boost
pads.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't ignore the big pads. You want to be picking up big pads, but hit some small pads along the way.
Nah.
All right, that's all I got.
And
We're
if
just-
you use
we're just
and if
memeing
you
at this
use
point.
70 boosts to go for a full pad, that's fine.